You know, when you hear the phrase environmental crime, your mind probably jumps to a single poacher, somewhere remote. But the truth, it's so much bigger than that. It's a massive, tangled, global web of deceit. So, let's pull on a thread and see what unravels.
To really get our heads around this, we have to start with one single, heartbreaking story. This little guy is a vaquita. It's the most endangered marine mammal on the entire planet. So how on earth did a creature this small and shy get caught up with some of the world's most dangerous criminal syndicates?
Well, the answer starts in Mexico's Gulf of California, with a tragic tale of two very different species, whose fates have become dangerously intertwined.
Okay, so on the left, you see the vaquita, and on the right, that's the swim bladder from a fish called the totoaba. Now, in some circles, that dried-up bladder is a huge luxury item. It can fetch such insane prices that it's actually been nicknamed aquatic cocaine. But here's the thing. The vaquita isn't the target. It's just the collateral damage.
See, the criminals hunting for that valuable totoaba fish use these massive, illegal nets called gill nets. And these things are totally indiscriminate. They're like invisible walls of death in the water. The vaquita, which happens to be about the same size as the totoaba, swims right into them, gets tangled, and can't get to the surface to breathe. So every single time someone goes looking for a totoaba, it's basically a roll of the dice for the survival of the vaquita.
And make no mistake, this is a highly sophisticated operation. The whole trafficking route is a textbook example of organized crime. It kicks off in Mexico, where these moths can go for up to $15,000 a kilo. I mean, just think about that. Then they're smuggled out, maybe in a small package, or in the suitcase of someone paid to be a mule. They're sent on these complex routes through places like Malaysia or Vietnam, all to throw off law enforcement before they finally hit their destination, the luxury markets in China.
But the thing is, this whole vaquita and totoaba story, it's not a one-off. It's actually a perfect, if tragic, window into a much bigger, much darker, global shadow economy where all sorts of crime just melts together.
And there's a key term for this you need to know: crime convergence. It's a simple idea with huge implications. It means that environmental crime almost never happens in a neat little box. The bad guys use the same smuggling routes, the same money laundering schemes, and the same networks to move illegal wildlife as they do to move drugs, weapons, or even people. It's all connected.
And this isn't just the theory. Researchers have drawn these direct lines. Take abalone trafficking. It's often linked directly to drug rings. The ivory trade? A classic way to launder dirty money. The rhino horn trade is infamous for its connection to brutal criminal violence. And get this, the illegal trade in live birds has even been tied to human trafficking networks.
So the scale of this is just immense, and it needs a massive response to match. How massive? Well, look at this number, 133. That's how many countries took part in a recent crackdown led by Interpol. That's a global fight right there.
So if you remember one thing from this part, let it be this. We have to completely change how we see this problem. This isn't just about saving animals from a few local poachers. This is about taking down powerful, violent, international criminal organizations.
But, and this is a really important but, fighting this global crime creates a huge dilemma, because sometimes the very rules we create to protect nature can accidentally have devastating effects on some of the world's most vulnerable people.
Just listen to this quote for a second. It's from a fisherman in the Bay of Bengal, and he's talking about what life is like when a fishing season is closed for conservation. It's just such a powerful human reminder that when your entire life depends on a natural resource, a conservation policy can hit you right where you live. It can mean the difference between eating and not.
And that is not an isolated story. We've got hard data from a study in Ghana that shows the exact same thing. Look at this. When a fishing ban was put in place, more than a third of the people reported hunger or having to eat poor quality food. Almost another third pointed to lost income. These aren't just statistics. That's real-life hardship felt at the family dinner table.
So why is the impact so bad? Well, here's the kicker from that same study. A staggering 2/3 of the fishing families had absolutely no other way to make a living. Fishing wasn't just their job, it was everything. So when you take that away, even for a little while, their entire world can fall apart.
And that right there, that brings us to the absolute core of the challenge, doesn't it? It's the question that everyone, governments, conservation groups, and the communities themselves, is wrestling with. How do we protect our natural world without crushing the people who are part of it?
The answer, it seems, isn't simple. It's about fighting a war on two fronts at the very same time.
It means you need that high-level, top-down attack on the big criminal networks, but you also need a smart, compassionate, bottom-up approach that actually empowers local people. Okay, so front number one, high-tech global enforcement. We're talking about things like wildlife forensics, using DNA analysis to prove exactly where a piece of illegal timber or ivory came from. I mean, that's not science fiction anymore. It's how you build a rock-solid case that sends criminals to jail.
And remember, it's not just about tracking the animals. You have to follow the money. You can't really hurt these networks until you cut off their cash. That's why financial crime units are absolutely essential. Just last year, over 400 experts were trained specifically to track and break up the illicit money flows that make this whole dirty business possible.
But then you have the second front, which is every bit as critical. And that's all about community-led solutions. This is where you see ideas like co-management making a huge difference. Instead of some government agency just handing down rules, the community actually gets a seat at the table. They share power, their local knowledge is respected, and they help monitor the rules themselves.
And when you put these two approaches side by side, wow, the difference is night and day. The old command and control style just didn't work. It made enemies of the very people you needed on your side. It focused on fish, not people. But co-management? It completely flips the script. It builds trust, it looks at the entire ecosystem, humans included, and it gives people a real sense of ownership. And guess what? Compliance goes way, way up.
So, after all that, where are we? We've seen the tangled web of the crime itself, we've faced that tough human dilemma, and we've looked at the two-front war being fought. It's clear the only way forward is to bring those two fronts together.
And we really need to figure this out, like yesterday. This number right here is a pretty stark reminder of what's at stake. Over 35%, more than a third of all the world's fish stocks are being harvested beyond what's sustainable. The clock isn't just ticking for the fish, it's ticking for the whole marine ecosystem and for the billions of us who depend on it.
Because in the end, this is the goal. A world where nature can just thrive. A world where a vaquita can swim freely, safe for generations to come. We started this journey with its story, and we've learned that its future is completely tied up with our own.
And so that leaves us with the ultimate question, the big one. This isn't about having to choose between saving nature and helping people. It's about finally understanding that their fates are one and the same. The real challenge is, how do we design a world where protecting our planet and empowering its people become the exact same thing?